Welcome to The Favorites, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. We are an Action Network podcast, your favorites trio, back at it, group hug. We missed each other. I'm Brandon Kravitz, joined by the one and only Stuckey and Kendra Middleton. On today's episode, we've got our Plant the Flag game for Week 7, a breakdown of the top storylines. We have a fired head coach in the NFL, and of course, the main event, Evan Abrams and his Tuesday primer. But before we get to the important stuff, guys, how do we feel about Uncrustables as adult snacks? I crushed one of these before the episode, feeling great. I basically eat like a 5-year-old because I just eat whatever my kid eats when I'm out the door. And as you can see, I'm not at the house today. Is this an acceptable adult snack?
I
I
don't mess
think
with
yes.
I don't mess with Uncrustables. My wife likes them. When we're on vacation, she always has them. Uh, but no, I can't say I don't think I've ever had one.
W-
Yeah, I've never had an Uncrustable.
I don't
Is this
eat,
like peanut butter and jelly, right?
it's literally a peanut butter and jelly. I don't eat them because I'm way too like holistic, healthy, hippie stuff when I'm not like filming for a restaurant. But if they're good enough for the NFL, they're good enough for the Favorites podcast.
Is there
They
any
give
other
these
flavors,
out.
or is it just peanut butter and jelly?
Strawberry. And I think they have a cinnamon sugar one, yeah?
They are starting to add a bunch. They got a honey one.
Grilled
They have
cheese.
Nutella, I think. So there's some different options out there, but yeah, the thing is that you do have to layer in some patience because it stays in the freezer, and then you have to. It's not like you pop it in the microwave. You have to wait until that thing thaws out. David Payne, our producer, says butter it and fry it. You are
Oh
a
my God, air
psychopath.
fry it? That sounds so good.
Wow,
David. Wow.
unbelievable.
Genius. I don't eat those things, but next time I go to Costco, I might buy the like no sugar added like for like the gluten-free weird kids. I might
I
try
don't know
that,
if
put
they
butter on
I
it in
don't
the
know if
air
they make
fryer.
those.
They
So
do. They have them at Costco.
we had no show on Sunday night. We had a lot to bemoan, a lot to celebrate. Would have been kind of all over the place, but you two had an eventful weekend. So Kendra, catch me up before we get into the nitty gritty.
I came home this weekend for the Jaguars game. I told you guys they were going to lose. I knew that that's exactly the way that that game was going to go. It was such a nice day though, and I ate Sadness tailgate hot dogs. So I guess it was a fine weekend. That went exactly how I thought it would, but it was fine. I was glad to be home. Took my mom to dinner. It's all good.
Stucky, what about you? You had a big baby shower.
Yeah, it was a complete degenerate weekend. I had family and friends in town, and because our baby shower was just a party at the bar, my wife's bar for NFL, from noon until close. But Saturday I had people come in, so I went out Saturday and then Sunday. So
You look like you're hurting.
it was a long
You can
weekend.
definitely hear it in the tone.
Well, and then
Yeah.
also the last two nights, and I have to catch up on everything that happened, and I also haven't slept the last two nights after that. So, well, that's a lie. I did sleep Sunday night, but I didn't sleep last night. So yeah, it definitely hurt my week, but here
You
we
need a
are.
ginger ale and a Tylenol.
Seriously. How many times
The
did
good
you
thing is
get the
I don't get bad hangovers,
It's
especially
because you
for my
don't
age.
sleep. You can't have a hangover unless you fall
Yeah.
asleep.
No, but like
That's the key.
I've always been good about that. Like my everyone else in my family, like my brother will if he drinks, he'll be down for like 3 days.
That's me. That's why I
But
don't do it.
yeah, so I'm actually good on that front, but obviously it gets harder with age. But
Do
here
you have
we
a
are.
trick? Do you have a
We
trick
grind.
for us hangover types?
I do just I I
He's
mean
gonna say
the
drink
key is you take a
water.
Tylenol. You take a Tylenol before you go to sleep. I don't even know if that's not maybe not medical advice, or you're not supposed to do that. But the main thing is you mix in waters. I always tell people mix in water, like as a joke, but I actually do mix in some waters. And yeah, and the other thing is I always tell people this that like people always wake up when they have a hangover, they'll this is just it's a natural reaction, natural reaction in your body to have anxiety. But I always try to tell people like um no one is thinking about you. No one is thinking about what you said or did. And try to think about 10 years ago when you drank and you were like, oh my God, I'm horrified, but you don't even remember it. Try to do it about a year ago. So if anyone ever has like those, just calm down. It goes away. It's just a natural reaction. But yeah, eat a breakfast in the morning. I mean, it's just the most generic advice. But I make sure that I do mix in some waters and then pop an Advil.
Kendra's dying over here. I didn't know we were going to get anxiety advice. I think that's even more important than the hangover itself, is dealing with
I
the
love
anxiety.
Stucky. I ride for Stucky. I swear to God. When we first like got paired together, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this. I live and die for this. This is so funny.
You didn't know you were gonna think. Wow, you were
Yeah.
Hey,
doubting
I'm just
me.
being
Okay.
honest.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right, guys.
scared of
Let's.
men.
Hopefully we hopefully we don't scare you here on this podcast. Let's get to our main dish. I want to start by apologizing. I'm sorry. I am truly sorry. This is my own version of a Tim Tebow speech. I promise that for the rest of this season, you will never see another podcast host work as hard as I will work to get these picks right. Saints plus 3.5, the only leg of our two kings and a queen parlay to not come home. And it pains me because otherwise I had a very good Sunday, but that would have been the whipped cream and the cherry on top. And that's ultimately what we drive towards throughout the week on this podcast. And I let us down. So hand up on that one.
Well, as long
I
as you continue to do some head-to-head bets with me and pay them off, I'm okay with you.
Went head to head
good Patriots
with
spot,
Kendra.
man.
Thankfully, we did not have a bet on the Patriots and the Saints because I would have lost that head to head also because Kendra was on the New England Patriots. Last night, I was on Atlanta, as I think a few of us were on this podcast. Stucky's been a big Falcons guy for the last couple of weeks. The defense shows up big. Number one in DVOA entering Monday night. I can't imagine that slipped after that performance. Stucky, this has been your squad for the last few weeks. So are you I would assume that at this point you're buying into what they're producing.
Yeah, I mean their defense is significantly improved, mainly because some of the rookies that they brought in, but they're able to generate some pressure. But they're one of the heaviest blitz teams in the NFL, and if you look back, I've talked about this a bunch on this podcast and on the Action Network podcast with Chris Raybon, that you're never really going to stop Josh Allen, but if you look back historically at his numbers, the best way to contain him and slow him down is you play zone and you blitz a lot. And they blitzed 56% of the time last night, which is a super high rate. It's the highest Allen has seen in any game in 4 years. Because you just can't, you saw it on the first touchdown, and then they learned quickly. Like they just sat back in a zone, they didn't bring any extra pressure. And then if you give Allen time, he's either going to find a running lane or he's going to find someone open. But if you bring pressure, you can throw that offense off. So and the Bills defense right now has major issues. I mean, at safety, their run D is bad. Like it's they're not playing that well. I mean, you look back the past couple of weeks that they were in a dogfight with the Dolphins at home and the Saints. They lose as touchdown plus favorites against the Patriots. So yeah, they need to get healthy too. So the bye week came at the right time. But yeah, I'm super bullish on this Falcons team. Uh, the offense is great. Keep if their offensive line is really good, it's one of the best in the NFL, but they did lose Jake Matthews for that second half, and then they already lost Caleb McGarry, their right tackle. So that could be something to to keep in mind. But Bijan Robinson is maybe the best back in the NFL right now, and they have the weapons on the outside, and it's with this defense. Like before, it was the defense could never it would just let them down, right? There was nothing the defense could do because they couldn't generate any pressure. That's one of the biggest differences this year. They actually can get pressure, and they're a little bit more talented on that side of the ball. So if Penix continues to progress, it's definitely a dangerous team.
Falcons plus 2.5 over on DraftKings against the 49ers. Sunday night football, back-to-back primetime games. We usually like to sell high on these teams that everybody starts to buy into off of primetime. The 49ers are so banged up right now. They just lost Fred Warner. They're a tough team to back at this point. Kendra, anything percolating as far as that game goes or takeaways from Monday Night Football? I'll let you take that in whatever direction you want.
My biggest takeaway from Monday Night Football is that I can't do the double headers anymore. I think I complain about this every time that it happens. It's
Do you just
just
feel
way
like
too
you miss
much.
too much?
It's not even that because when we're sitting here watching Red Zone and you've got your couple different screens, you're spreading the games out, whatever, it's all fine. It's just I want them to add more to the 4 o'clock slate or, take a couple games out of the 1 o'clock, add more to the 4 o'clock, give us the traditional primetime football. I've been watching way too many screens throughout the day. By the time that rolls around when it's commercial time, I want to go get a drink of water. I want to go take a pee. I want to do whatever by the time Monday night rolls around. I don't want to have to be flipping between the two, have the multi view up. I want to watch one game. That being said, the Falcons impressed me. I think I'm more so just so shocked that the Bills just sucked. I think that they're a bad team. I think that they might be a bad team. It's basically Josh Allen, a couple players on defense, and then question mark of who is going to show up outside of the tight ends every single week. Bears Commanders, I think the Bears are kind of good. Commanders are pretty much who I thought they would be. Expected a sophomore slump from this team just in general. Knew that Dan Quinn probably would just have like a fall from grace. But my biggest takeaway from Monday Night Football is that I'm sick of the doubleheaders and I can't do it anymore.
My problem with the double headers is that uh like there's so many bad teams in the NFL that when you do these double headers, you're it it just makes one of the Sunday windows so much worse. Like last week at the 4 o'clock window was three games, and it was Bengals, Packers, Titans, Raiders, and then the Niners, Bucks. It was an awful window.
Terrible.
This week, because I mean, you have, and then no, look, you throw a London game in there too, which is one of the better games of the weekend, Rams, Jags. And then you have the Sunday night game is a decent one, Falcons, Niners, and your Monday night game is Bucks, Lions, and Texans, Seahawks. Like those are some of the better games on the slate. So the 1 o'clock slate this week is Raiders, Chiefs, Dolphins, Browns, Patriots, Titans, Panthers, Jets, Saints, Bears, and Eagles, Vikings. Like Eagles, Vikings is the only teams that are above 500 that are playing each other. And I don't know. I mean, like watching this Eagles offense and if it's JJ McCarthy or Carson Wentz, it's not like that's the must-see TV. So like you have these windows now on Sundays that are just a little worse than they maybe should be because you're the greed of the NFL and they want their two Monday night games. So that's my biggest beef with it too. Is that we're losing like a good game or two on Sunday at 1 or 4.
I think it's compounded by the fact that you have a London game as well. So it's when
Yes.
you have double, I think that's probably the move that should be made is pick one. Either have the Sunday morning game and then one Monday night game or two Monday night games, no early Sunday game. I
Yeah, 'cause you
think
also have
that
teams on
shift
buys now,
itself.
right? It's not like week
Right.
one, where I get it if you want to do it week one, but it is what it is. There's lines, and we will try to bet on them and find winners. But yeah, it was a good weekend betting for me, but who cares? We're on to week 7.
Amen to that. Baker Mayfield now emerging as a good MVP bet, plus 450. He's still third shortest odds in the market, 33-1 though at the beginning of the year. So you've missed that window entirely. Kendra, is he your MVP right now?
I feel like, yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue against him. They've had a lot of injuries and they just seem to keep finding ways to get it done. I think with the status of Ibuka right now, that could potentially mess up this offense. But they have tape on him now, so like that doesn't even really matter to me that much. As far as just what we've seen so far this season, I don't really know how you argue against the odds. So yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Jamie Ardall was all over it. She was all over Baker Mayfield to start the season. So kudos to her.
Stucky, are you surprised that he's still behind Allen and Mahomes? That was as of yesterday. I would actually assume I'm going to check the most up-to-date odds right now as we speak, but he still is. He's still behind Mahomes and Allen. I don't quite get that with how he's performed.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if the season ended today, he would win it. He would be
Yep.
my MVP. I mean, think about all the clutch moments he's had too. All the final minute drives. He's pushing the ball down the field and doing it with success. And then consider all the injuries that the offense has had too. Like the offensive line, all the receivers, now Bucky Irving, and he's still continuing to play at a super high level. Now, and the good thing is the defense isn't great, which means like if the Bucks are going to keep winning, they're going to have to keep putting up points, which means he's going to keep putting up numbers. I could see I could see the case for Mahomes though. I mean, that offense the last 2 weeks has looked really good. You're going to get Rashee Rice back this week, and like he's throwing the ball downfield again. Like his numbers, his advanced metrics, his A dot, everything looks like it's like 2022 again. And now you're gonna have a healthy set of weapons. And uh the Chiefs, I think, are probably gonna get hot here with their offense. I still think the defense has some holes, so like Mahomes is gonna have to put up some numbers. And like there were there have been seasons where you could argue like Mahomes is the MVP of the league, right? And but he wasn't going to win it because just you would have either Lamar or Allen putting up silly numbers. So if he just has a really good year and then Baker falls off a little bit, like there's you got to remember this is like a human award, right? Like it's not like just here's the stats and here's what has to happen. There's a lot of it is name recognition, but there's there might just be like, hey, let's get Mahomes his third MVP if he has a really good year because I think he's won in 2018 and then 2022. So um, that's probably the other name. So
What about
I
Daniel
could see the
Jones?
case.
Like weirdly enough, if it wasn't Baker, I would put Daniel Jones above Allen and Mahomes right now,
My issue
personally.
with
He
Daniel
has no
Jones is that
aura.
I
I'm
think I
contrary
would.
to what you said. He has no aura. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I think I'd give it to Jonathan Taylor ahead of Daniel Jones. That's my problem with DJ.
Yeah,
How
that's
about
fair. It's just
Bijan,
so
by the way? Bijan should be in the conversation at least. Like he's not going to win it as a uh
their
unless he
team can't
does.
sustain it though, I don't think.
Yeah, but like as of right now, I'm saying he should at least be mentioned. Like I mean, he's 238 scrimmage yards yesterday. The last game that he played, I think he had 200 and something. Like
Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle. Yeah,
Thank
let's
you.
get
Yeah,
Rico Dowdle
somebody
in
had to
the
say
MVP
it.
conversation.
We're a Rico Dowdle truther podcast.
Okay. I do want to get to the slate. We've got our plant the flag game. I want to do a Thursday night pick as well, since by Thursday's episode, some of that information can be outdated. So we want to get something on the card early for that. But before we move on from the headlines, the main dish, Brian Callahan is out as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Stuckey, you were addicted to this team last year. They let you down time and again. You were hands off. I believe you even went into therapy for this. Are the Titans now bettable?
Possibly. I mean, they're still really bad, but I mean, Callahan was so bad that he would cost them multiple times a game. I think that was part of the reason why the market could never catch up to how bad Tennessee was. Their offensive line is now healthy, at least, but Calvin Ridley is now banged up. Their defense has a couple injuries on the edge. So, yeah, I mean, they're a little bit more intriguing, but it's still not a great team. But yeah, they've been in bet jail. They're my one bet jail team for the past couple weeks. So
The
I
one week
might.
Stucky wasn't on them, he shit on me, and I took the Titans, and they beat the Cardinals.
Yes, but they should have been down 28-6 in that game. So I wasn't too upset that I didn't have them. I didn't have them last week against the Raiders. So yeah, I'm a little more intrigued by them, is what I'll say, than I was before because Callahan was, I mean, like 4-20 against the spread, whatever it was, is beyond. It's incomprehensible that you could be that in an NFL market. So yeah, a little bit more intriguing, but not a team I'm like running, like knocking that through doors to get my money down on.
We doubted you. We doubted you.
But Callahan
I
was
thought
bad.
you'd be all the way back in.
Me
Kendra, do you want to
too.
say Kendra, do you want to save your take on this for plant the flag, or do you want to
Yeah.
let it fly now?
No, we can save it.
Okay. We're about to take a look at the Thursday night football game between the Bengals and the Steelers, but first, a word from yours truly as we chat about our friends at DraftKings. The Favorites podcast has teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook, where new customers can bet $5 and get $300 back in bonus bets if your bet wins. And that's not all. DraftKings is also giving away 3 months of NBA League Pass to new customers. To get started, use the promo code FAVORITES when signing up with DraftKings. Again, use the promo code FAVORITES when signing up. Bet $5 and get $300 back in bonus bets if your bet wins, plus 3 months of NBA League Pass. The crown is yours. Before we get to Thursday night football, Stuckey, give us a Tuesday night bet in college football so that we can keep the good fortune rolling. But I want you to explain it to us in NFL terms that we can understand.
FIU plus 10 against Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky is sort of like the Bucks, I guess. They have a bunch of really close wins this year against some bad teams that also had injuries. I mean, this is a team and some misleading finals. Like they returned an onside kick at the end of the game against Nevada, but they were losing in the fourth quarter of that game. They were losing in the fourth quarter against Missouri State. It was not a very good team and lost their star quarterback in the second half. So this team has just been very, very fortunate. Good offense, bad defense. And FIU is coming off a blowout law. They looked horrendous at UConn, but they've had 17 days off, new staff. I think that's beneficial to clean some things up. But I just don't. This Western Kentucky team is, I don't trust them to win by significant margin. So I think it's a good time to fade them. So I'm taking FIU and Keon Jenkins, who was their quarterback. So it's as if like the Bucks would be. Um, 10-point favorites over
It's kind
like
of
the
like when they played the
Titans.
Jets, maybe.
Yeah, similar to
The Jets
that.
covered. Well, if you're wondering out there, how can Stuckey operate and not sleep? Like, why doesn't this guy lay his head on his pillow at night? That explanation is exactly why that doesn't happen, because he knows such things. Also, Pitbull basically owns FIU for what it's worth.
Pitbull
Steel,
Stadium.
yeah, Steelers Bengals. Steelers favored by 5.5 on Thursday night. Total sitting at 42.5. The Steelers have won and covered 3 straight. The Bengals covered on the road, much to my chagrin, against Green Bay, but they still have a negative 80 point differential. That's number 1 or number 32 rather in the NFL. Flacco has made their offense slightly better, but is it enough to get you to the window? Stuckey, where are you at on Thursday night?
Maybe. I mean, my numbers say to play Cincy. So I might get down there. I might get there small. I generally hate Thursday night football, so I usually don't bet it big. Cherry Hendrickson though got banged up, and like he is the only good defender on Cincinnati, so that's noteworthy. We're doing this before any injury reports. Uh, but Pittsburgh, I mean, Pittsburgh is a team that I am looking to fade. Like they've just coming up in the next, maybe it's this week, maybe it's the next couple of weeks, because and the Steelers do this every year. They get off to a hot start, then they fade at some point. And this year, like they beat the Jets week 1, the winless Jets. They should have lost that game. Then, they lost by 2 touchdowns at home to the Steelers. They did win in New England, but New England had 5 turnovers. New England should have won that game. And then they beat the Vikings and Carson Wentz in London by 3, and then they beat Dylan Gabriel in a horrendous spot last week. Like, right, they were coming off of a bye. It was a rookie quarterback on the road after being overseas. Like, and the Browns had a ton of injuries during that game. So, yeah, I think the Steelers are very fraudulent 4-1, although their defense is getting healthier. Um, but still, like now they're laying 5.5 on the road against Cincy. Maybe Flacco now has a little bit more time. Now it's a short week, which isn't an ideal, but I mean, you got to remember this is a guy that came in to the offense and to the whole operation like in the middle of the week last week, like the whole new playbook, whole new players. So I think as time goes on, he's going to get a little more comfortable. He's still not great. He's still old, but it's better than what Jake Browning was putting out there. So. Yeah, from a numbers perspective, um, this is a Cincy play for me. Couple injuries I want to watch. Probably have it small, but would like to get a 6 at this. I don't know if we'll get it though.
Kendra, you in on it?
I am probably on the under in this game, if anything. Divisional game. I think both. I, the Steelers have. Like you said, fraudulent 4-1. Fraudulent 4-1. I don't believe in that offense as much as they showed a decent amount of spark earlier or 2 days ago on Sunday. I can't get behind them being like a juggernaut of an offense. The Bengals still lots of questions. I think once Joe Flacco probably has the opportunity to learn the playbook more, it might look a little bit better. More so just that it's a divisional game to me, and you have two 75-year-old men playing quarterback.
So, love those. Love that feels
Yeah, I
like
wonder if this is the oldest quarterback matchup.
it could be.
Gotta be,
Yeah,
gotta
Rodgers and
be.
Flacco.
There could have been a
And
Brady
on on
somewhere.
uh on the Flacco front, I mean, how many times in his career now has he played against the Steelers? I mean, he's played for every team in the AFC North except for Pittsburgh. So he's definitely accustomed to this matchup. As far as a short week goes and still not having a lot of time to really acclimate himself, this is about the best matchup he could ask for in terms of familiarity.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that, but yeah,
Yeah, no, that's a good point. But that works both ways though too.
Right.
I mean, because Tomlin has been there forever. Oh, Brady was 43 and Breeze was 42 in 2021. That's the oldest ever.
okay.
So I'm not betting this personally, and I'm pretty much with you guys as far as the Steelers are frauds, but I placed a bet on them to win the Super Bowl this morning. Hear me out. Hear me out. It's
Ew.
not like I actually think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I just think the number is crazy. The offense doesn't look particularly good. The defense isn't elite, but between Rodgers, TJ Watt, the mediocre play that we're seeing out of the AFC, if they're in a critical situation late in the playoffs against like the Jaguars, if they meet them
The
in the
Jaguars
divisional
own the
round,
Steelers. Don't
This is the
even start with
Jaguars
me.
podcast.
Historically,
You're
the
not gonna win us
Jaguars
over with that.
The Jaguars
Colts.
own the Steelers and the Colts. Colts haven't won in Jacksonville in over a decade. Miss me
The
with that
Steelers
garbage,
are
Kravitz.
30. The Steelers are 30 to 1 to win the Super Bowl. They're the 2 seed in the AFC. They might have a first round bye. They're going to
No,
be
take
so
the knife out of my back that you just stabbed in and twisted, pretending to be a fake Jags fan this whole time. Nah, miss me. Ain't no way.
The funny thing is, yesterday I placed a Super Bowl bet on the Ravens. So, hear me. I said I was going to do it 1-5. They're going to get healthier after the bye. Their schedule now, they had one of the hardest schedules so far. Now they're going to have one of the easiest schedules. The Steelers' schedule gets a lot more difficult. And this is basically like, can the Ravens chase down Pittsburgh? They play them twice in December. Their schedule gets easier. Steelers gets more difficult. Like Lamar's going to be back after the bye. Their defense should get healthier. I'm trusting in that organization to sign or trade for someone. Like, can they go get? I'm just throwing a name out here, but like, could they go get like a Dexter Lawrence or someone like that, like an impactful guy on the
Sexy
defensive line?
Dexy. No way.
Like someone like that, because without Matabuke, they need it. But yeah, I think this is just the bottoming of the market on Baltimore. I'm just trying to time it, and like, so if they come back and win the division, then they're going to be in like six,
It's
seven
gonna
to
be a
one
nice
range.
ticket.
So yeah,
I think
I
that
bet
maybe that's
the
just
Ravens.
that's the general advice here is like just find if you think that there's value on someone in the AFC, just buy them. I mean, think about it, whether it's the Ravens working their way back up into the mix or the Steelers ticket that I purchased this morning. The playoffs right now, the Colts is the 1 seed, the Chargers are the 3 seed, the Patriots, the Bills, the Jags, the Broncos. Which one of those teams can you not beat, especially if you have home field advantage in the
The,
playoffs?
the
They're all
Jags. This
beatable.
is the Jags podcast. You keep forgetting that.
Kravitz, I cannot believe you have done this to us.
Hey, you know what? We can always add to the ticket. Okay. We can
I'm mad and
discuss.
disappointed.
I will not be. I will not be investing in the Steelers in the Super Bowl. But I wish
No,
you.
hell
I wish
no.
you luck.
Jaguars 14 to 1 to get the 1 seed. That's also possible. All right, time to plant your flag presented by DraftKings. Let's go around the horn here. Kendra, we'll start with you. Where are you planting that flag this week?
I am gonna go with the Titans on the 7.5. I have to. Okay. They just fired their coach. I told you guys a couple weeks ago that whoever the first team to fire their coach was, I would get on them the following week. There's always an amount of get up. It's a fake revenge game for Vrabel.
Why
Okay.
is that fake?
Because
This
I
guy's going to be
don't
ready to roll.
you With you just picked against the Patriots. You just talked about how much you didn't like them last week.
I mean, honestly, had I even thought about the fact that they were heading into Tennessee the following week, I would have probably doubled down on the Saints, which would have been a horrendous decision in hindsight. But this is one. Vrabel's going to have his guys ready to go.
Yeah, but it's over a touchdown in the NFL the week after a team fired their coach. It's got to be
Third
it's
straight
got to.
road game, third straight road game too for New England, which is noteworthy. Um, yeah, and over a touchdown, it's New England or I mean it's Tennessee or nothing for me. This is a tough week so far. I haven't even bet anything yet. There's a lot of injuries to monitor. I'm still going through every game, but I'll plant my flag on Minnesota. I mean, this Eagles team eh, as a road favorite, or I don't even know who the quarterback's going to be for the Vikings this week, but they still haven't announced if it's going to be McCarthy or Wentz. But they should be healthier coming out of the bye. Like they had a ton of injuries. Like Van Ginkel should be back. Their offensive line had a ton of injuries. They should be much healthier there. And this Eagles team is just a mess right now. They're laying points in Minnesota against Flores with a banged up offensive line, an offense that looks completely broken. I mean, they need to get to a bye week and figure some things out. And then defensively, Jalen Carter is banged up. Quinyon Mitchell got hurt. The rest of that unit is not playing very well. Uh, Minnesota off the bye, great staff, one of the best home field advantages in the NFL. Yeah, I'll plant my flag on the Vikings.
I did already bet the Vikings at +2.5, so I'm with you on that. I don't think are we at the point now where Carson Wentz, JJ McCarthy, the line doesn't move an inch depending on who the
I
quarterback
think
is.
Carson Wentz is better. I still stand on that, and that's saying a
I
lot.
think Carson Wentz is better right now. I mean, there's more variance with McCarthy. It's like there's a lot we just still don't know. But like, yeah, I think Wentz is better than McCarthy right now. There's a wider range of outcomes if McCarthy plays. Like
But
we've
in
had,
terms of spread value, I don't think the
yeah,
line
I don't
moves
think
based on the
it's nothing
news.
marginal. Like it's not like this would go to three or anything. So yeah, I think it's very marginal. Maybe there's a group or someone with a lot of market influence or money who does have a really strong opinion on that. But for me, I mean, it's like a half point difference. So
Would you advise waiting for the 3 though for people that are listening to this, or do you think it never gets there?
I don't think it would ever get to three. So
I tend to agree. Raiders +11.5. Planting my flag on that one. I was surprised to see this touch 12 yesterday. It's back down to 11.5. The Raiders always play the Chiefs well. It was nice to see some signs of life from Geno and company, even if it was against the horrendous Tennessee Titans. But this is more of a fate of Kansas City selling high on a team that now everybody's bought back in on. Major letdown spot against the division rival, over 10 points. Raiders autoplay. I mean, we brought this up last week that this was probably going to be a play on the Raiders today. Any pushback from anybody?
uh
Nope.
I mean, you're gonna get Rice back. So they can the I mean the Raiders are gonna play their zones, they're gonna try to prevent explosives. They might be able to run the ball a little bit because the Chiefs' run D has not been great, but man, that I mean, I would love if Bowers played, and I don't know if he's gonna play. So that hurts, and you don't have your left tackle, which still really hurts their offensive line. Like even against Tennessee, they only averaged what, like 4 yards per play last week. Um, but yeah, I would love it if Bowers played, but I don't think he will because if you look at the Raiders' schedule, I mean they're in desperation mode, so maybe he will, but they're 2-4 because they have the Chiefs then a bye week. So like if you're looking at it from the franchise's perspective, you don't plan this week. You basically have 3 more weeks for him to get healthy. So that's the only thing that I would note, but I think your logic makes sense and is sound.
Uh, I almost fell off my chair just now. Appreciate you guys coming back around on me after all that Jag stuff. All
You
right,
did
this is
that
your
to
last.
yourself.
This is your last chance, Kendra. Before I officially tag this with our DraftKings sponsorship, are you sure you want the Titans?
Are you bullying me right now?
You just took
I'm
the
just.
Raiders. You can't bully her about the Titans. Um,
Yeah.
come on.
I will say, always love the fired the coach angle. So you do have that
And
Yeah.
it's
feather in
the,
your
the
cap
worst
here.
coach of all time you're firing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. A monkey could call plays better than him.
So here are your plant the flag games presented by DraftKings. Kendra is on the Titans +7. Stuckey has the Vikings +2.5, and I am on the Las Vegas Raiders +11.5. The dogs are barking this week. Now, time for our main event. No betting week can start without it. It's the primer, courtesy of the voice of God, Evan Abrams. Evan, welcome to the show. When is the last time you had an Uncrustable?
That's actually a really good question. It's been a few years. They're very tasty. They are good road trip snacks. I will give you that. So that's probably where I stand there. The deep fry of an Uncrustable feels like a very, very dangerous game. So I don't know if I'll be playing that.
Boo.
That's
I like
that
that.
seems very maybe Halloween. I don't know. Maybe we could do something stupid.
I'm
All
sure
right.
that if you were to go to the Texas State Fair for OU Texas, I'm sure that they've done that already. They were frying mayonnaise this past weekend.
I've been told the
Ew.
fried Snickers. Fried Snickers is a good idea.
That
I
doesn't
think I've
sound
seen
bad.
those out before.
But I
Fried
like
butter.
I like
You're a
yeah.
fried
Yeah.
butter.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's amazing, actually. I'm serious. It's like I didn't know what to expect, but it was like the best thing I've ever tasted in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
How does it not melt?
Yeah, that's a
Uh,
good question.
I don't know. I don't know the science behind it, but
It's encapsulated in the fried bread, Kendra. That's
Obviously. How do you not know
No,
this?
that's what we do
Duh,
here.
God, idiot.
have you had fried butter, Evan?
I've tasted it. Yes,
It's good, right?
it's absurd. Yeah,
Yeah, like you
it's
feel
crazy.
you don't want to be eating it because it's like you're basically eating a worse version of a stick of butter, like because then it's just fried, but it's
Diabetes.
heavenly. It's
Oh
heavenly.
man.
Like it's hard to explain.
That sounds like a heart attack. But I do like the road dog angle of the Uncrustable. All right, Evan, what are we looking at? What are the trends we need to be aware of?
I'll give you two. So off the bat, that kind of back up what you guys are talking about prior to this. So the Mahomes angle, obviously they're laying 11.5 this week as a favorite above a touchdown since 2020. The man is 36-2 straight up, but 13-24-1 against the spread as that big of a favorite. The 36-2, best in the NFL. The 13-24-1, worst in the NFL. And that's something we've seen recently. The best note is this. Above a touchdown favorite since 2020, he's 30-0 straight up versus anyone not named the Raiders. So both his losses
Christmas
to the
Day was one of
Raiders.
them.
Yeah, Christmas Day, and everyone's opening presents, and the Chiefs can't get to 14 points. We all remember that.
Yep.
The other fired angle, I'll give you this one. So I think more impactfully, I looked last decade, just since 2016, most recently. So Callahan, 23rd coach fired, prior 22 teams. Listen, just 10-12 straight up, 11-11 ATS next game. Even home, it's pretty much even ground. I think the one angle you would look at is the team that fires the head coach, 28% straight up, 36% against the spread before the firing, goes up about 7% straight up, but 12% against the spread after the firing. So the teams end up finding themselves a bump in whatever stretch left of the year they have. The game after, here or there, sample size a little bit small. I will say this, the line of 7 on the game, decently large for after a coach getting fired, especially at home. Those numbers kind of point towards Tennessee getting the cover, but either way, the bump, it does exist.
Smash.
Interesting. So do you think that that's just been overrated over the years? Has that become a pregame show narrative more than an actual betting angle?
I think the cause of the bump for the rest of this season is something noteworthy because you had to be bad enough to get fired in the first place. And usually that impacts straight up more than against the spread. But that number ATS prior of 36%, that's terrible. So to get back to 50% after the firing of 48%, that 12% delta is noteworthy. Like the team gets better.
Yeah,
So,
like
yeah,
you're
go ahead,
number one,
Seth.
you're probably bottomed out, so like there's nowhere to go but up. Generally speaking, if you're a coach that got fired, you're more than likely not a bad coach, and that's the case with Callahan. And then also, there's just hey, you bring in a new regime, you were a bad team, right? You had to have a really bad record to get fired. So that means that you were probably doing some things that were not ideal for your team schematically or using your players, right? So you get a new voice in there they might listen to the players. They're going to try some new things. That's more applicable to the first game with a new coach, right? So there might be some surprises, right, that the Patriots aren't expecting that that the Tennessee might try, and then they'll break tendencies of what they've been doing. But I think there's definitely a lot behind why a team would improve the rest of the way.
The logic is sound for why anyone, and Kendra is, wanting to back the Tennessee Titans. My issue with it is the other side of the angle, and I'm curious if there are any numbers behind this, Evan, because you have Mike Vrabel coming into town, who was fired by the Tennessee Titans. So if we're talking about aggressiveness late in the game to prove a point against a bad team, Mike Vrabel's probably going to do that. This is a throat on the jugular kind of game, I would think. So I'm curious if there's anything on coaches that are facing the team that previously fired them.
Yeah, I just think it'd be small enough sample. I'm literally staring at all of the coaches who have faced the new coach after the fired. I just don't to cross reference to see if the team had faced them. I haven't done that yet. But to my standpoint, I believe that the bump is there no matter the circumstance. Everything else a little noisy. You could believe the storylines you want with Vrabel, and I think I agree with you. Like, there's no reason for him not to stomp on Tennessee's neck if he has the ability to. But as a whole, I think the line's a little inflated. I also think it's probably just going to go up. 64% of tickets, 74% of the money on New England. I think as we get closer to the weekend, it could get to stuck. What do you think? 7.5? Is it possible? Like, do we keep going?
There's one already here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think it'll close 7, but I think
Okay.
that we'll probably see some 7.5s.
What about so Dan Campbell, Monday Night Football against the Bucks? That's a really interesting game. I think that's a really tough one to peg from a betting perspective because the Lions, we know, have just been so good against the spread, yet their secondary, we'll see what happens this week, but so banged up against Kansas City, and that was such a KC spot on Sunday Night Football. Now they play the Bucks. The Bucks are without everyone on offense, and they've been awesome. So Dan Campbell off a loss, though, I would think is probably the primer angle to follow here. What do we have on that, if anything?
Yeah, very simple. I mean, Goff and Campbell, 15, 12, and 1 straight up, 20 and 8 against a spread off a loss. But what everyone will tout, they've covered and won 11 straight, dating back to the November of 2022. So basically, they come off a loss, they mow people over. And I think the angle that is more of an outlier when it comes to this is just the fact that when Goff is a favorite, he's pretty much just crushed competition, especially when it comes to night games and things of that nature. They're ridiculous. During the regular season, Goff is 19-3 straight up as a favorite in night games, 9-0 with the Lions. He's made 39 starts at night in prime time, 21-5 straight up as a favorite. So, and we saw what's interesting is 4-9 as an underdog. So the role we saw against Kansas City kind of followed what he's done previously, but in this spot, especially off a loss, everyone's just going to make the assumptions on Detroit. It's the reason the line. Actually, wow, I literally just looked at this line had gone down to 4.5. I didn't see that. It was 5.5 last night.
There's so many injuries to keep track of there. You have
Yeah.
all the Lions corners. They're going to be without all their corners again. Then you have this the safety that might get suspended, or he is suspended, but he's appealing it.
Brian Branch is
Brian Branch
suspended
is
for
going
this.
to, yeah, but he's going to appeal it. So I don't know if that's changed. Taylor Decker's hurt too. And then the Bucks, you have all the offensive line injuries.
Ibuka's
Bucky
hurt
Irving,
too.
Yep.
Bucky Irving's not going to play. Godwin's not going to play. Ibuka MRI. Evans could be back, but that's a lot. Like, so that's a tough game to crack. But there might be some market movement throughout the week based on the injuries because the Lions defense has a ton and their left tackle, and the Bucks offense is decimated throughout. But maybe just with Baker Mayfield, it doesn't even matter, and he's going to find guys no matter what against just completely depleted secondary. But there's a lot of moving pieces with that game.
I'm going to want to be on the Lions, but I think to Stucky's point, waiting is probably the best option here. That right there is why we save Evan for the end of the episode. That was fantastic. That'll do it for today's episode. Special thanks to our producers, David Payne and Gifford Gould. The favorites will return on Thursday, right here on the Action Network YouTube page, when we detail our Week 7 best bets, unveiling this week's 2 kings and a queen parlay. Redemption ahead, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next year on the favorites presented by DraftKings. We're out.